Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is indeed an honor today to recognize the 49th anniversary of the Japanese Consulate General in Atlanta. I've had the privilege over the last couple of years of serving as the chair in the House, and I want to make sure I thank Representative Nolowitz, who's the co-chair also of the Georgia-Japan House Caucus. But it is so important, I can't tell you, not only for our country, the strong ally and relationship that we have with Japan, but also for Georgia. For 49 years, Japan has had a relationship with Georgia. Many of you have sister cities, and as you know, our reputation of the best place to do business, I can tell you that strong partnerships like those for our Japanese companies that come in here and are great partners in Georgia, many of you have these Japanese companies that are actually in your district, and they employ our Georgia citizens. So I can't stress enough how proud and how honored I am to recognize the relationship and the partnership. And with that, I want to introduce the Consulate General, Japan's Consulate General Maeda, to say a few words. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Speaker Burns, and it is a great honor for me to have this privilege to speaking to this House of the Representatives today. First, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to Georgia-Japan House Caucus co-chairs, Chairman David Knight, and Representative Terry Anurbitz, as well as co-sponsors Speaker Pro Tem Ian Jones, Representative Bruce Williamson, and Representative Brian Prince, along with those who supported sponsored the resolution, and all other members of the Georgia House of Representatives. 3 weeks ago, Prime Minister Kishida and President Biden reaffirmed at Washington, D.C. that our cooperation today is unprecedented, rooted in our shared value, shared vision of a free and open Indo-Pacific and a peaceful and prosperous world, guided by the shared vision of shared values, including the rule of law. This relationship is also a strategic partnership that is critical in this rapidly changing world. And I'm glad to say that the relationship between Japan and Georgia is also unprecedented, with a long history of friendship. In 1973, the state of Georgia established its trade office in Japan, and 2 Japanese prominent companies started their operations in this peach state. 1 year later, the government of Japan decided to establish the Consulate General of Japan here in Atlanta. Today, more than 600 Japanese affiliated offices and companies are active in this state and employ more than 40,000 Georgians. I'd like to express my sincere gratitude and thanks to the people of Georgia for their strong and continued support to their activities. But our relations is not limited to these economic areas. Many Georgians are studying Japanese, and others have been involved in Japanese cultural activities. And Japan Fest, the largest Japanese festival in the Southeast, was held last September in person for the first time in 3 years and attracted more than 18,000 people. I would like to touch upon one memorable event which was also held last September. That is the completion of the Peace Bell Tower at the Carter Center. Look at that screen. The bell itself was originally molded for the temple in Hiroshima in 1820. But after the twists and the turns, it was donated to President and Mrs. Carter in 1980s. The bell itself had remained unhung for decades at the Carter Center, but the combined effort of Japanese and Americans led to the construction of this bell tower in traditional Japanese style. And I'm glad to say that now we can strike this historic bell once again, and we can enjoy the solemn sound of it. And this is the perfect example of the strong ties between Japan and Georgia. So, honorable representatives, I'd like to reiterate that the relationship between Japan and Georgia is unprecedented. But I strongly believe that we still have a lot of rooms to explore more. So, as the Consul General of Japan in Atlanta, I'm commit myself to continue working hard to this end. And I'm looking forward to working closely with you for the mutually prosperous future. Thank you very much for your attention, your friendship, and hospitality. Thank you very much.